We're here with our friend, the country's friend, my friend, Donald Trump Jr., Trump Organization Executive Vice President. Your father is a historic and iconic figure who is very endearing to the American people. And my question is, as you put together your administration and so forth, you put together your government, you're still, I think, wise to the fact that there are elements out there that want him to fail, that would like nothing more than to impeach, nothing more than more criminal investigation. In other words, I'm saying most of these people haven't gone away.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair. We definitely recognize that. The swamp itself, the Uni Party in D.C., you could see there was a reason they put up such more resistance, even on some of the Republican side. They understand that Trump, with 4 years of actual understanding, having been president, having come in as a total outsider, you trusted people that, you believed them because they had an R next to their name, but you realize that's actually meaningless. So I think we have an opportunity now to put together a coalition of people that are truly America first, that don't believe they know more than the duly elected president of the United States, people who aren't sort of the self-appointed gatekeepers and arbiters of who knows best. We understand who those people are, and part of my job for the next 90 days is going to make sure that those people don't get those positions of power where they can stymie the agenda that America overwhelmingly voted for. My father's always been very clear. He does not mince words. The American public knows what he wants to do, and they know he's capable of it, and that's what makes D.C. so scared. So we're just going to make sure that we don't have those roadblocks in there. And, that's always hard to, figure out in D.C. It functions very different than business. People claim to be on your side for years. They'll snake you for a good article or some, a commission deal for some other guy that they're representing that's a special interest. I think we have as good an understanding as we can possibly have of that, and that we didn't have in 16. So, knowing what we know now, I think it allows this agenda to be so much more effective, this mandate that we were given. You've taken the notion of, he didn't win the popular vote. You've taken that off the table. People have to understand that this is the direction that America wants. When you look at the gains with, half the 18 to 29 vote, you never thought that would be possible. Huge gains, doubling, of the African-American vote, more than that in some of the Hispanic vote. I mean, it's truly a mandate for all Americans, and I think that's so important and fundamental to what we're trying to do.
And you raise a very important point when we come back, Don, which is personnel is policy. You get over 3,000 positions that you can appoint from top to bottom, even though there's 2.5 million bureaucrats. So it's crucially important. Personnel is policy. So what are you doing? What are others doing to make sure that the people who serve really, and I'll put it bluntly, aren't saboteurs, aren't out for themselves, who are there to push the agenda that the American people voted for in supporting your dad? We'll be right back.
Welcome to Fox News Live. I'm John Scott in New York. The transition to Donald Trump's second term as president is officially underway. The president-elect will meet with President Biden at the White House on Wednesday. The meeting comes as the Trump transition team is quickly working to fill key White House positions. Mr. Trump already making history by picking his campaign co-chair, Susie Wiles, to be his chief of staff. She'll be the first woman ever to hold that job. Most of the Trump cabinet nominees are expected to be easily confirmed after Republicans took control of the U.S. Senate. Fire crews on both coasts are busy battling wildfires. A flurry of blazes has burned more than 65,000 acres across California. Slower winds are helping firefighters gain control of the flames. Meantime, smoke from wildfires in New Jersey and New York is blanketing parts of the East Coast. I'm John Scott. Back now to Life, Liberty, and Levin.
Welcome back, America. We're here with Donald Trump Jr. So this personnel issue is very, very critical, and you're involved in it. You said the next 90 days. So what are you kind of doing to make sure that people who opposed your father, Republicans who opposed your father, trying to come under, the radar, how are you going to make sure that he really gets the people he needs?
Well, Mark, a big part of that is the reality of is anyone who is willing to oppose Trump got plenty of TV time, so we'll be able to figure out who those people are exactly. I think we had a that's the reality. They say, "Oh, I love you." They show a tweet from 7 minutes ago saying, "Look how much I love you." It's like, yeah, let's go roll the tape. So that's the nice thing about all the political capital that was given to anyone who was willing to, bastardize, probably in many cases, even their true beliefs for a little bit of airtime. But I think it started off really well on Thursday when my father decided to choose Susie Wiles to be his White House chief of staff. I think Susie's been incredible. She's a no-drama individual. She understands my father. She lets him be him. She's not going to be one of these gatekeepers to make sure that only the people that want one specific thing will go in there and talk to my father and tell him just what he needs to know to get to where they want him to be, as opposed to everything he needs to know to get to where he should be or where he'd be inclined to be. And so I think that role to me was number one to fill. We needed to do it with someone that understands him, and I think Susie's going to be an absolute rock star in that position. And my father, throughout his whole career has done that. I mean, he was a better builder than most because he was able to and chose to listen to guys on the ground, the actual construction workers, not just guys in an office. So he wants to hear everyone's opinion. He'll always make up his own mind, be sure of that. But he wants to hear from everyone, and I think Susie's the perfect person to allow my father to be himself so that we get to these decisions the way he would want them to be, not the things that are guided by, the corruption within the swamp.
You make a great point about your father. He's the president. So when you have these generals who are trying to push their way, or these squirrely little activists who are trying to push their way, or no, I don't think you should do that, give him your opinion. He wants to hear it, then get back and then execute, correct?
100%. And that's what you didn't have in 16. Like I said, now you have much more of a mandate. We understand who the bad guys are. They'd nod and say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And then they'd go back and put it in the circular Rolodex. He'd bring him in 3 weeks later. What's happening? Oh, it's taking a while. They weren't. They were just slow rolling him. So, again, now we understand who those people are. We understand, the loyalists. We understand who's also competent. And we're going to choose the people who are both loyal and competent to the mission that he wants to fill for America. And that's a hugely important role. That's going to take up a lot of, my 90 days. I'm going to make sure to do whatever I can to present my father a list of people for each of those roles that he'll ultimately choose on his own. But, I've immersed myself pretty heavily into this for the last, almost decade now. So we have such a clear understanding of it. We will know, and we're going to make those right decisions. It's going to be incredible.